Happy Friday. It is Friday, May 26th. Had to check. Today we are going to go through a really great question that I got through the Unmarked Street contact website from Garrison, who asked me this week kind of what it takes to become an Unmarked Street client. And while we are working on a lot of different tools that we're going to be able to probably offer out later this year, so just as a little bit of an insight, like I've been working really hard on figuring out what it means to better serve like startup brands or fashion design students or like associate level industry pros who are kind of looking to learn about all of this knowledge that I have up in my brain about the apparel industry. And while I'm working on figuring out what that looks like in the way of like online courses, we're getting those recorded, getting some like great helpful tools built so that I can kind of give those away along with the course. We are definitely refocusing where we put our efforts into our like one-to-one done for you programs. So when I started Unmarked Street back in October of 2021, I had this idea about just kind of being like a basic business consultant and also a contractor in the apparel space. And this is what's, I think, most typical that we see in the fashion design space. You know, we have freelancers who are kind of just part of the dynamic of a lot of different companies. They come in and go out as needed to work on projects or to kind of come in and consult on business practices that maybe could be a little bit better. And there's not a whole lot of, at least not what I've seen on the corporate apparel side, of people kind of coming in and doing a ton of coaching. And that's mostly because a lot of these brands have their own ways of working. They have their own processes. They all have managers who have come up through the apparel industry in a similar way that I have. And so there's less need for coaching in the same way that like a startup might be looking for information on how to even contact factories or how to source fabrics or how to build a tech pack or anything like that. So it's kind of two different sides of the coin that we're definitely trying to serve. And while we move forward on that, I'm building out a new website called thebusinessofapparel.com. You guys have kind of seen that as part of my logo for a while now. And we've grabbed that domain. And so we are definitely kind of building that out as the education side of the business, which is really exciting. We hope to have a lot more tools over there by the end of the year. So again, to answer Garrison's question, at Unmarked Street, we are starting to refocus our efforts by working with brands who have kind of hit that 7-figure mark, like that $1 million annual recurring revenue goal that a lot of brands have. A lot of brands can get to that point by being fairly scrappy, like having a great product that a lot of people want or having a really strong marketing campaign can really get your name out there. It can get your product sold pretty fast and then get you to that $1 million mark where you're trying to figure out then how to kind of keep up with all of the product that people want from you, which is a great problem to have, don't get me wrong. But what gets you from 7 figures to 8 figures, 9 figures and beyond, like what helps to build those $1 billion apparel brands is very different from being scrappy in those first few years to get there. And that's, I think, where Unmarked Street really shines. The corporate background that we've had for the last, so Jen and I have both been doing this for 20 years. Jessica's been in the industry for 15 years. Like that 55 years of experience that we bring is something that allows those brands to relook at the product that they're making, how it's selling, how it's resonating with their customer, how the costing looks, the meat and bones of the numbers, like margin percentages and all of those kinds of things that need to be looked at to understand what is a success in the line, and then how do we take those successes and propel them so that they get amplified and grow so much over time. And the trick to that is you need to put your efforts there, which means you need to get rid of the stuff that's a loser in your line. So you've probably heard me talk about this a little bit through the videos that I've been doing and putting out on YouTube and here on Instagram. And it's called SKU rationalization. So SKU stands for stock keeping unit. And when you get to like a line sheet of thousands of SKUs that you're managing all the time, you're going to find that some of them just aren't selling as well as others. And if you take the time and the effort to go through all of those and realize what's making you money, what's not making you money, and get rid of the ones that aren't making you money, all of a sudden you start to see a revenue growth and kind of like this ball rolling down the hill, getting you from that 7 figures to 8 figures and beyond. And so it's a process thing as well, like building out SOPs, which is standard operating procedures, and making sure that you're following industry standards for the fashion industry. We work in a really unique way from a lot of other different industries. I'll do a little bit of a comparison to like helmets. So in the cycling world, I work really closely with some other departments like cycling shoes, cycling helmets, etc. And one thing that's interesting about cycling helmets is that once you've designed, developed, and kind of engineered this piece, a lot of the pieces and parts that you need can be made from items that are already in-house at the factory. And I'm not an expert on helmets, so don't like read me one if I'm saying this wrong. They for sure have a BOM, and they need to be able to like order webbing and order Velcro and all of that great stuff to make sure that they're hitting all of their timelines and everything. But one thing that we have to also think about in the apparel industry is ordering fabrics. And fabrics have their own long lead time. So again, even though helmets definitely has like, you have to be able to make the Velcro, a lot of their trim manufacturers hopefully have a lot of stuff already on hand. It's just sitting there ready to go because it's something that people are using over and over again. A lot of the time in the apparel industry, because fabrics are either made specifically for our brand, like we're doing something proprietary and brand new, or we need to make sure that the mill is creating a brand new roll for us so that we get the quantity that we need and the quality that we need. It kind of adds like 2 production timelines on top of each other. And so those processes are things that we kind of come in and help to teach your team about, help you understand how all of that works, put a calendar in place, put a process in place, help to project manage that, help to make sure you have the right people on your team doing the right things, help you understand how to forecast, how to do all of that the right way. And so by doing that, we kind of can come in and help those brands double and triple their revenue faster than they would have expected. So at this point, we are pivoting. We're going to be trying to work with clients who have that $1 million in revenue or more so that we can really amplify our skills and give the best that we can all the time. However, we are going to keep a few slots open throughout the year to bring on clients who might not be quite at that mark yet, but have either really similar values to what Unmarked Street brings to the table and the kind of brands that we really want to be working with, so that we're constantly always kind of having this like flow of energy. And so even though working with some of these bigger corporate brands is our new focus, we are also open to just discussing with anybody what is possible. I'm not really the type of person to say no to anything, so I really like to explore and say yes if we can. So that was kind of my answer to Garrison. It was very long-winded here, but that is the way that we're pivoting here at Unmarked Street and at the Business of Apparel, and we're really excited to be moving this way. 2023 is shaping up to be a year of kind of process for us, like setting up our strategy. What does the business really need to look like? What is our niche? Like there are a lot of different, I think, coaches out there who are really great at teaching startups all of the things that they need to know. And while I have the capability to do some of that, I just don't think that it's the highest and best of my service that I can give. So right now, that's where our focus is. As we move forward, we'll figure out how to use my highest and best service for the rest of the apparel community so that we can be giving out the best tools that we possibly can there, but they're not quite ready yet. So we do want to take our time and do it right instead of kind of rushing through it. And so that is really exciting. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know. And if you're a company who's hit your first $1 million and you're looking to figure out how to double or triple that as fast as you possibly can, please reach out to me. You can go to unmarkedstreet.com. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful Friday. I am really excited to start my weekend. I got on a little bit early today. We're going to do a podcast episode recording here in just a few minutes, and then I am shutting down for the day and starting my weekend. And I hope you have a great one. Talk soon.